Japanese trains are cool, aren't they? They're incredibly fast and incredibly famous. What's interesting is we Brits actually have a few Japanese trains too, and it's relatively easy to guess which ones they are. The AT300 family, or the new high-speed Hitachi trains that roam the UK from the East Coast Main Line to the Pennines to Hull. There's one Japanese train in the UK that most people forget about, and that's, you guessed it, not the Class 385. In this video I'll be taking you through how my local train came to be.
Edinburgh. This train is for dogs and carriages.
The year is 2015. Abellio have recently won over the ScotRail franchise, and they plan on increasing the performance of regional services on the new electric lines. The pre-existing Class 380 units were doing a good job, however there simply weren't enough of them. The fill-in services were done with old BREL Class 314s, 318s and 320s, which in the nicest way possible were definitely not up to scratch with the latest technology. ScotRail signed a contract with the Japanese train manufacturer Hitachi, ordering 70 electric AT200 sets to replace and operate alongside the older trains, mainly on services between Edinburgh and Glasgow. Now, every train family has a meaning to it. Zero, Turbostar and Aventra are all good names for a group of trains, but AT200 sounds a bit bland and technical. This is usually shortened to A-Train, but Hitachi has a system for the A-Trains in which the family name determines what type of train it is. For AT100 we have the high-density suburban trains. Say, if the Class 376 were built by Hitachi, it would be classified as an AT100. The AT200 is the name for trains that operate larger suburban and regional routes, such as the Class 385. AT300 is the class for fast, long-distance intercity trains such as the Class 800 or the Javelin. Finally, we have the AT400 class, which don't actually exist yet, but are currently being planned for HS2. Construction of the Class 385 began in late 2015, with the first units being delivered roughly a year later. Every unit took roughly 2,100 hours to build, which is nearly 3 months. Thanks to this, there was a delay in delivery, meaning that the services were temporarily replaced by Class 365s. The final units were delivered in 2018 and put to work around Edinburgh and Glasgow, serving places such as East Lothian, Lanark, Falkirk, Dunblane, Stirling and more. In 2019, Hitachi offered to build identical battery sets to operate on electrified lines, but the offer was turned down. This would have been super cool because at the moment there aren't any battery trains in Scotland. The introduction of the 385s on the Edinburgh to Glasgow lines forced the existing Class 380s on those lines to move over to where the Class 314s originally operated, making them finally go out of service after 48 years. There were one or two problems about the new 385s, one of them being that the god-awful windscreen orientation meant that some drivers could barely see in bright sunlight and experienced hallucinations of extra signals. Just kidding, the angled glazing meant that the light of signals were reflected, supposedly making the driver double-sighted. To this day, this hasn't been fixed, but I suppose the 385 drivers just got used to this. Today, all 70 units remain in operation, connecting the two biggest Scottish cities together. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please consider dropping a like or a sub. As always, I will see you once again in a future video. Thank you and goodbye.